Hi, I wanted to show you my 2016 vegetable garden. Let's take a look inside. This is the first year with this garden. I had a garden at our old house that I did for 1 year, but it wasn't as big. It was one raised bed, and here you can see we have two. Each raised bed is 4 feet by 8 feet. And if you look closely, you can see that I did do a nylon string grid of 1 square by 1 square, sort of in the style of square foot gardening, but mostly so that I would have an easy guideline for where to plant things. So I put, let's see what's in here. We have lettuce, a nice spring mix that was grown from seed. Other things that are from seed include the sugar snap peas that are just about done here at the back. I also did pole beans from seed that have gone crazy up that trellis there. Handmade trellis. I also did, here's some more sugar snap peas. And then on the other side over here, I did pickling cucumbers, which have abandoned the trellis and started to take over the rest of the garden. Apparently 4 plants is too much, because if you skip 2 days picking the cucumbers, then you've got a real problem on your hands. Anyway, what else do we have here? Flowers. These are nasturtium. I originally wanted to do marigolds in the garden, but didn't really like what I saw at the nursery and the stores. And so someone at the nursery said, why don't you try nasturtium? And I had read that they are good in your vegetable garden, so I did. These are kind of taking over. I'm constantly cutting them back so they don't provide too much shade for the other plants, and they just keep coming right back. Now, nasturtiums are a member of the watercress family, which means that I don't know if that's what this means, but their leaves and their flowers are edible. I've eaten the leaves. I have yet to try a flower. The leaves are pretty peppery, so I wouldn't make an entire salad out of the leaves from the nasturtium, but maybe throw in a few in a salad you already have, and it would make a nice accent. Okay, other things that we have in the garden here. We do have a rosemary plant that's doing great. And then we have a ton of peppers. This plant here, as you can probably tell, is a habanero. It is the biggest habanero plant I have had the privilege of growing. The last time I grew one, it was probably about yay tall and about half as big around. You can see lots and lots of buds, flowers on here, and several fruits. There we go. There's some fruits that are starting there, just waiting to mature and turn orange. I would say we're going to have better than 30 habaneros, which means I'm in trouble, since I don't like spicy things, but my husband does. This plant next to it is a new plant I've never grown before. This is called a Bulgarian carrot chili pepper. And we've already picked probably 8 to 10 of them off and used them or given them to others. Even though they're really mature when they are orange, we've used them at the green state. Those are hot. On the Scoville scale, they are in between a jalapeno and the habanero. Speaking of jalapenos, that's this super tall plant right here and its neighbor. I've never ever seen a jalapeno plant quite so tall. Lots of them on there. And then beyond that, we've got lots and lots of bell peppers. You can see that they have grown to a really fantastic size, as big as you would see in the store, no doubt. And over here, over on the other side, I don't know if we can see, but we've got one that's finally starting to turn there. And in Michigan, sometimes it can be hard to get them to do anything other than just be green because our growing season is not super long. So these are really enormous peppers and enormous pepper plants. And really the only thing I did, we got topsoil locally. I was a little concerned about the clay content in the soil initially, but it seems to be doing just fine. We also put 2 bags of mushroom compost on each bed and kind of work that into the topsoil, and that's it. No other fertilizers, nothing but sunshine and water. So over here is my first experiment with sweet corn. I have, how much do I have? I have 16 squares of sweet corn. I have 2 plants per square, which I was supposed to thin and never did. So I have 32 plants here going on. And I learned about hand pollination a little bit too late after all the pollen had fallen off, but we had some good windy days. And I have lots of corn here. And so I do have several ears with kernels on them, so I'm pretty happy about that. But we'll see what they look like when they are ready. Next to that, actually taller than the corn in spots, are my tomato plants. I have never seen tomato plants grow this big, so shout out to whoever the grower was, a local gardener who gave these to the nursery, and I bought them as seedlings from there. Next year I think I'm going to try and grow my own seedlings indoors in the winter months and see how that goes. But I have a couple different varieties of tomato plants here, one of which is brandywine. I have 2 brandywine plants actually. This year we are fighting something that I've learned about called blossom end rot. There's a good example of it for you there. It has to do with a calcium deficiency in the plant. So last night I gave it a shower of water and crushed up Tums, and really hoping that's going to help do the trick. We have more nasturtium over here. We do have, if you can spot it in there, some cilantro, which has managed to do well despite the overwhelming amount of shade that it's getting from these monstrous tomato plants, and our pickling cucumbers here yet again. Next year I think we're going to do a little box, a little planter along maybe the perimeter on the inside of the garden, and see if we can do herbs in there and get them to do pretty well. These pickling cucumbers have been great. You really have to like pickles though. We have planted 4 plants this year, and we could have done with about 3 plants fewer because I'm out here every night or every other night picking cucumbers to make into pickles, mostly doing dill or dill spicy. But the fun thing about this is that they have these enormous leaves, and you can be going along looking for pickles and all of a sudden see an enormous one like that guy there that really wasn't here the day before. So anyway, that's my garden for 2016. Thanks.